Welcome to another video from Play Simple Chords. In this video I'm going to cover the gospel chords and progressions for the song Jesus Keep Me Near the Cross. And we're going to be in the key of B major. In the previous video I covered the gospel chords theory and I used the key of B major as the example. So if you look at that video called Gospel Chords Theory Overview, you'll see where the chords can come from to add additional chords to a chord progression and to enhance the harmony in a song. Now, this song being in the key of B is the first that we'll go into that has sharps. So the key of B starts on B. The first sharp is C sharp. Second sharp is D sharp. Then we go to E. The third sharp is F sharp. Fourth is G sharp. Fifth is A sharp. And then we're back to B. So this song has 5 sharps. And because it has 5 sharps, the reference to these keys will be a little bit different than the previous songs. When you look at these 5 notes, without it having a reference key, the tendency is to always refer to them as flats, even when you're in a key that might have some sharps. But for this song, we're going to start introducing ourselves to the first sharp key in the progression that we're going. We're going around the circle of fifths, and we're going to eventually hit all 12 keys. So we'll go through all the flats and all the sharps. Now, there's another little peculiar thing about note names. And that is, when you're in some flat keys, this key, which is B, would be referred to as C flat. And this key, which is E, would be referred to as F flat. So the point I'm trying to make here is that some of these keys have more than one name depending on the root of the scale that you're working in. But their position on the keyboard is the same. It's just you spell them differently based on the root key. So this song starts on a 1 and then goes to the 4 and then back to the 1 and then back to the 5. But what we're going to do, as we've done in previous songs, is we're going to add some other chords using the 4 as a target and the 5 as a target. We're going to come up with some additional chords that we can add to the progression. So to start off, we can walk up and then we can go to the this G9 sharp 11 as a passing to the 4. So instead of Jesus, we're going to go and then we're going to add a diminished chord to go back to the 1. What do we do there? So after we played the passing chord and the passing chord to the 1, then we'll play this G sharp minor, and then we'll play C sharp 9. And if you look at that, the C sharp in the key of B is a minor chord, but we just played a C sharp 9. And how do we get away with that? Well, that's the concept of using the 5 as a target chord, and we're going to play the 5 of the 5. So F sharp is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C sharp is the 5 of F sharp. So we're playing the 5 of 5. 5. That's how we end up doing that. And then it just repeats the same chords. And then we're going to go from the 1 to the 5. And we'll play this little walk back to the 1. So it's a 1-5-1 with a little walk between the 5 going back to the 1. Now, when we go to the chorus, in the cross, be my glory ever, till my raptured soul shall find rest beyond the river. So we're going to start on the 1. Okay, and in this progression, we added the 2, 5, 1 of E. Now E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, 5. So we did a 2, 5, 1 of E. So we went 2, 5, 1. And then back to that passing chord. Then we played a D sharp minor, which is the 3. And then we play a G sharp minor, which is the 6. C sharp minor is a 2, but again we're playing it as a 5 of 5. And then we'll play these 2-5-1 to G sharp to take us from the till my raptured soul shall find. So this was a 2, 5, 1 to G sharp minor, and then back to that diminished. Now something to recall is this was the 5, but we can also play the tritone substitute. So if E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we know a tritone is an augmented fourth. So if this is the 4th, you just raise it. So that's the tone. So you could play this chord progression this way. And then now, when we look at this, I've demonstrated before how you can have the chords in the scale arranged on a circle, and you'll get a different harmonic sound. Well, this can also be used to identify target chords and their most common 2-5-1 progressions that can be used to take you to those target chords. So on the 1, of course, you're in the parent scale, so you'd be using the 2-5-1 of the parent scale. So the 1 and the target chord in this case is B major, because we're using B major as the example. So all of these chords are in the B major scale. Next, going around the circle, if you use 4 as a target chord, a common progression that you'll hear is a 5-1-4. Those are the bass tones in the parent scale, but the actual harmony is a 2-5-1 coming from the major scale of E major. So E major is the target, and you look at those chords that provide the progression, it's actually a 2-5-1 in the key of E major. Now, for simplicity or for ease of understanding, you can continue to call it 5-1-4. You just have to remember when 4 is a target chord, 5 is no longer a dominant chord. 5 is going to be a minor chord. And the 1 is no longer a major chord. It's going to be a dominant chord. So B would be a dominant chord. And that would get you your 5-1-4. Or if you're looking at it from a theory standpoint, it gets you your 2-5-1. Then next, going around the circle, we start using the harmonic minor. So 7 is going to be the target chord, and we know 7 is that chord that has a couple of different uses. It can be a diminished chord, or it can be a minor 7 flat 5 chord. But in all of these cases where we are using borrowed chords or other progressions to create the harmony, the target chord is going to be treated like a 1 chord. And in this particular situation, the A sharp chord, which is the same as B flat, it's just spelled inharmonically. But the A sharp chord is the 1 chord. It's going to be the target. So you can look at the bass tones from the parent scale, and that's going to be a flat 2, a flat 5, and then you're going to go to 7, which is your target chord. But if you look at it from a theory standpoint, it's a 2-5-1 of B flat minor, B flat harmonic minor. So all of those chords that you see in that table, the C minor 7 flat 5 is not in the B major scale. So that C minor 7 flat 5 comes from the parent scale of B flat minor, B flat harmonic minor. And then the F7 is a dominant chord. But the F in B is F sharp. So you're taking a different chord, gives you a different sound and a different feel if you use the 2-5-1 of the harmonic minor for the 7, and you treat the 7 as a 1. You're not going to see that commonly, but there may be some situations where you'll see it. The others in this circle are far more common. Going around the circle, the next progression would be treating D sharp minor or E flat, because they're inharmonically the same. D sharp and E flat are the same tones. So if you look at that, we're going to be using a 2-5-1 of the E flat harmonic minor. So we're going to a minor chord, but in order to use a 2, 5, and a 1, we have to change some chords. And when we do that, we're essentially borrowing chords from the harmonic minor scale. So when you look at this particular progression, F minor 7 flat 5, and we're in the key of B, so that's why we can clearly see in this example that we're borrowing chords from a different scale, because F minor is not in the scale of B major. And then B flat 7 flat 9 is not in the scale of B major. So we get a 2-5-1 in the key of E flat minor. So we would get a F minor 7 flat 5, excuse me, F minor 7 flat 5, B flat 7 flat 9, E flat minor 7. The next progression going around the circle, we would be treating 6 as the target chord. And 7-3-6, that's one you've heard of many times. In this particular case, that bass tones are 7-3-6, but the chord structure makes these chords come from the harmonic minor scale of G sharp minor. So you would look at A sharp minor 7 flat 5, D sharp 7 sharp 9 sharp 5, and a G sharp minor 7. All of these chords would come from the G sharp minor 7 harmonic minor scale. And if you look, these chords are not serving the same function, except for the minor 7 flat 5. It is in the B major scale, but D sharp 7, D sharp is not a dominant chord in the scale of B major. So that borrowing situation creates a 2-5-1 with 6 being the target chord. So we have a minor 2-5-1. Now the next chord that we'll be looking at is a 2 chord. And again, to add additional harmony, you're looking at the 2 chord as the target chord. And for that chord, we're going to play a 3-6-2, which would be the bass tones. But if you look at the actual harmony structure is based on 2 being the target chord, which is a C sharp or D flat minor 7, going and having a D sharp minor 7 flat 5, moving to a G sharp 7 flat 9 to a C sharp minor 7. So you have a 2-5-1 for the 2 chord using the harmonic minor of C sharp or D flat. And then finally we have the movement to the 5 chord. And remember, when we talked about 5 being the target chord, it had can serve 2 functions. It could be a dominant chord or it could be a major chord. And in this example, it's going to be treated as a major chord, and it's going to be the 1 of a 2-5-1 progression. And again, the bass tones are 6, 2, and 5. But when you look at the chord progression, it's actually a 2-5-1 in the F sharp harmonic minor scale, or excuse me, the F sharp major scale. So the parent scale for this 2-5-1 progression would be F sharp major 7. Now I hope this sets a foundation for understanding the application of this concept to future songs. Thank you for watching my tutorials. Simple chords are the building blocks for making advanced chords. And I hope you find that these tutorials are helpful to you on your musical journey. Please like, subscribe, and share these tutorials with others who have a desire to learn how to play music of the piano. I look forward to sharing other tutorials with you in future videos.